What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Chuck Berry. And we're returning to this 20th Century Masters, the Millennium Collection compilation I have, featuring a number of his notable hits. And we're going to listen to Roll Over Beethoven, a song I think I've heard in multiple movies and or maybe commercials and shows over the years. I think it's a cracking track for multiple reasons. I did want to mention there was someone who commented on a previous Chuck Berry reaction I did who was saying essentially like, have you met Chuck Berry? Well, if you haven't, then, don't say anything about him or, don't presume you know anything. I'm not presuming to know anything, and no, I wasn't fortunate enough to meet Chuck Berry before he passed, but yes, as I do in all the different music deep dives that I go through, I talk about if I've heard the song before, the way it's hit me lyrically and or sonically. Then we listen to it, I talk about the way it hits me in the moment and what I can derive from the lyrics. So yeah, none of this is definitive and none of this is presented as if it is in any way authoritative, but I will talk about the song here as I do with all the different deep dives. So yeah, just to clarify, in case that person comes around again. But yes, this tune, as I hear it and as I've thought of the lyrics over the years, I think it's a very clever reference to impactful music over the centuries, over the generations, meaning it makes reference to such classical music titans as not only Beethoven but also Tchaikovsky, but it's fundamentally talking about rhythm and blues, this form of music that really came to the fore in the late 50s, early 60s, and is in many ways the precursor to rock and roll. Indeed, it's essentially one of the earliest phases of rock and roll and the one that broke through into wider American popular culture through Chuck Berry and a number of others, Little Richard being a good example. But yeah, it talks about how the narrator wants to hear rhythm and blues on the jukebox, and it's such a powerful and dynamic sound that it might even short out the jukebox. And he's essentially saying to the then departed Beethoven, roll over in your grave, you're going to want to hear this. Tell Tchaikovsky the news, because this is the new style. This is the new hip music. And so in that regard, it's saying essentially that the narrator wants the music to be as appreciated as those classic composers and their wonderful works are. So it's, connecting different generations and styles of music and drawing attention to a style that was really burning up the minds and the dance floors and the jukeboxes of those times in the middle 20th century. So let's give it a listen. This is Chuck Berry. The track is Roll Over Beethoven, and it's included on this, what is it, Millennium Masters? I forget what it is again. Yeah, the Millennium Collection of 20th Century Masters. And away we go.
Yeah, this is a jumping little record I want my jockey to play. Roll over Beethoven, I gotta hear it again today. My temperature rising, the jukebox blowing a fuse. My heart beating rhythm and my soul keep singing the blues. Roll over Beethoven, tell Tchaikovsky the news. I got the rockin' pneumonia, I need a shot of rhythm and blues. I caught the rolling arthritis sitting down at a rhythm review. I roll over Beethoven, they're rocking in 2 by 2. Well, if you feel it and like it, go get your lover, then reel and rock it. Roll it over, then move on up just a trifle further, then reel and rock with. Run another roll over Beethoven, dig these rhythm and blues. Well, in the morning I'm giving
I just love that sound of that mid 20th century rhythm and blues, early rock and roll. Whether again we're talking Chuck Berry, Little Richard, what is it? Not the Coasters. Who does that song? The I'm gonna look it up in a moment. But the Do You Love Me Now That I Can Dance? Gosh, who is that? It's not the Coasters, is it? Oh, I gotta look it up now. But as I was trying to say, I'm such a big fan of that mid 20th century rock and roll sound. Okay, so that song is by The Contours. I knew it was something like that. I knew it was something like that. But yeah, what year did that come out? I want to say late 50s. Oh, 1962. So again, yeah, oh, it was composed by Berry Gordy. So that was Berry Gordy's group? Is that right? I wasn't remembering that. Or no, maybe he just wrote the songs. Yeah, Joe Billingsley, Hubert Johnson. Oh, so okay, yeah. I mean, they were a Motown Records group. Oh, and Jackie Wilson? Wait, hold on. Pay a Visit. Oh, okay. So they sort of auditioned for Berry Gordy in the home of Jackie Wilson. In any case, yeah, whether you're talking the Contours or Mr. Berry here, or as I said, Little Richard, there were a lot of acts that were, part of that moving of rhythm and blues from a more niche and perhaps like ethnoculturally specific genre into like the public eye. And I do think maybe more than any of the others, Chuck Berry was the one who really like made it this national sensation. And yeah, I think this is a great tune. The only thing missing, quote unquote, for my taste is a bit of saxophone, but we definitely get the rock and guitar, some really cool like guitar moments. We definitely have that smoking keyboard in the background. And he makes reference to a fiddle. I don't think we actually hear a fiddle on the track, but I do enjoy the idea that, again, rock and roll became associated primarily with the guitar, but in the earliest days, the piano, the saxophone, these were like crucial elements. And I like the concept, at least as I interpret it, the idea that, this is the it sound, and if Beethoven and Tchaikovsky were around these days, they'd be listening, they'd be checking it out, and maybe they would be part of this, so roll over Beethoven, tell Tchaikovsky the news. This is the new stuff that's cranking through the jukeboxes and causing them to blow a fuse and, making young folk dance it up on the dance floors with their fancy and funky moves. So yeah, I really do enjoy the concept of the tune. I think Barry sounds great on the vocals. He just has that kind of like raw intensity. Not that his voice isn't melodic, it very much is, but there's an everyman feel to the way he delivers the lines. And I think even, again, the themes of the song, it's about like, everyone's feeling this, I'm feeling it, I want my disc jockey to play it because, this is the record that's going to really, burn up the jukebox and the dance floors and the parties of young folks today. So yeah, I really think it's a great tune. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.